On the date of 11th March, the first day of our SEM 2 presentation, uh, on the day of my presentation topic is the biographical elements in Orlando, a biography. This is my personal information. Points to ponder: key facts, introduction, gender and sexuality, is historical context, quotations and references. Key facts: the title of the novel is Orlando, a biography, written by Virginia Woolf. The original name of Virginia Woolf is Adeline Virginia Stephen. The Orlando biography is a tragic and satirical novel. Antagonist society, protagonist Orlando, and genre biographical and historical fiction. Literary period modernism, setting England and Turkey, published in 1928, written in 1927 to 1928, were written London and England point of view, third person narration. Virginia Woolf, born in 1882 and died in 1941. Virginia Woolf's fantasy novel Orlando, a biography which she was writing as she began preparing a room of one's own. Orlando's discovery of sexuality with Sasa is a moment of joyful liberation of the sort that better associated with the Renaissance. Woolf's conceptions of the past and of the Renaissance is, in particular, was similarly subjective and, in the case of Orlando, rooted in a sense of place. She conceived the central historical idea for the novel whilst visiting her lover Vita Sackville West at her ancestral home of Knoll in Kent. Wolf's sense of the past is alive and active, seen in Orlando's long memory, and her visions of the past reflects the spirit. This link between past and present had resonances for Sackville West, who had lost Noel when her father died, and the estate passed to a male cousin. Virginia Woolf and Vita Sackville West both are a member of Bloomsbury Group. As Nigel Nicholson has noted, Wolf in Orlando had invited Vita with Noel forever. Virginia, by her genius, had provided Vita with a unique consolation for having been born a girl, for her exclusion from her inheritance, for her father's death earlier that year. Orlando demonstrates that imagination and empathy provide more powerful ways of staking a claim to the past, therefore, enacts the imaginative search to rediscover lost origins which Wolfe had advocated in Rome of one's own. By using Orlando's long life to trace a heritage for a 20th century woman writer back to Renaissance. Gender identity and sexuality. In 18th and 19th century, Orlando faces challenges of gender identity and sexuality. Virginia Woolf's 1928 novel, Orlando, based on Woolf's lover Vita Sackville West. In her early 20th century novel about a nobleman named Orlando, who capable of being both male and female, literally and figuratively. Perhaps the most obvious example of fantasy within the novel is the title's character sudden change of gender. Woolf herself was writing at a time when female writers were not taken seriously, and many critics felt that Orlando, a biography, was a literary response to the fickle society in which she lived and worked. In Woolf's novel, the protagonist allowed fully and completely experience what it means to live life as both a male and as a female. She doesn't need to cross dress or prove her masculinity or femininity because she truly exists as the other gender. Woolf's understanding of gender is a performance which, rather than arising from biology, actually creates a working version of biological sex for the performer, is apparent in many scenes in Orlando. The protagonist changes sex. She leaves Turkey for England as a publicly acknowledged woman, and much of the subsequent chapter concerns Orlando's growing awareness of her new gender identity and its social consequences. Orlando reveals the ways that the dominant overly simple gender system limited the possibilities of subjects circumscribed by it, particularly women and implicitly lesbian women. Historical context: Orlando's social status is accused uh, uh, education, the leisure of life. Orlando reflects Woolf's profound ambivalence and about prevalent models of history. In Orlando, Woolf satirizes the idea of the spirit of the age as a regulatory ideological force. This is at its strongest in the 19th century section, where the spirit of the age persistently pregnancy, censoring her writing and compelling her to marry. Orlando organized along the lines of clearly demarcated literary periods: the Renaissance, the Restoration, the Enlightenment era, the Romantic era, the Victorian period, and the present. But these categories become unstable, for they are frequently treated ironically. This quote from Orlando, a biography: as long as she thinks of a man, nobody objects to a woman thinking. This is the references. Thanks. If you have any query, then ask me.
Anjali, for you, my question is why Virginia Woolf inspired to write Orlando, and what is the purpose behind it?
The purpose of Orlando, inspired by the Room of One's Own novel, of a novel by Virginia Woolf, and she inspired by the novel.
Next, if we don't sleep, be alert and ask your question while the completing slide is going on, so that I don't have to remind and our time also will save. It will take time in loading from here. 2 3 minutes it will take. Gave this instruction you are late, so you are slightly late, then also you will be the problematic thing in the entire session.
Anjali, my question is that what is the historical idea behind this novel?
The historical idea behind the novel is gender identity and sexuality, or the Orlando's social status. Thank you.